Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are immersing ourselves in, well, a true giant of modern Arabic literature, Taha Hussein's 1934 masterpiece, The Call of the Curlew.
Or Dua al-Karawan.
Exactly. And our mission today is to dig into why this story, which on the surface is a tale of revenge, is really considered one of the most profound and frankly sublime works of the century.
And I think we have to set the stage right away by talking about the style. Because while the story is gripping, the book's, its massive reputation really rests on its language.
That artistic prose you hear about.
Precise. It's so poetic that critics often say it's less a novel and more a piece of poetry. Some even call it untranslatable, or at least almost impossible to translate while keeping that same essence.
That completely changes how you have to approach it, doesn't it? We're not just following a plot. We're experiencing a tragedy through this almost musical language.
And at the heart of that is the central motif you mentioned in the title, the call of the Curlew, the Carawan.
The Carawan, right.
That sound is everything. It's the emotional frame for the entire story. For our narrator, Amna, that cry is a constant reminder. It's a 20-year vow of vengeance she shares with this bird.
A vow linked to the death of her sister, Hanadi.
To the brutal, hidden murder of her sister. So this deep dive is all about how that one tragic, hidden story drives this incredibly complex plot of calculated vengeance.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The foundations of this tragedy. The women here, the mother, Zara, and her two daughters, Amna and Hanadi, they start from a place of, well, crippling disadvantage.
They do. Their whole fate is basically sealed by the deplorable conduct of their father. The sources describe him as a lady killer.
Consumed by sinful lusts, I think is the phrase.
Yes, and his behavior isn't just a personal flaw. It leads directly to his murder. And because everyone saw him as a victim of his own sins, there was no recourse, no justice.
So no going to the authorities, not an option. And the family's reaction?
The immediate consequence was social death, exile. There was only shame left. The entire extended family just cut them off, instantly.
And that forces these three women with no protection to cross what the source calls the sea.
Which is actually a large canal, but it's symbolic. It's a huge break. They have to go find work as servants in a town full of wealthy civil servants, engineers, a totally different world.
And the shame follows them. It's almost a physical thing they carry with them.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
The sources point out this brutal detail about their village name, Bani al-Warkan.
Which the townsfolk would deliberately mispronounce.
They'd twist it to sound like a vulgar phrase, Bani al-Warkan.
Between the two thighs.
Exactly.
Wow. I mean, that one detail tells you everything. Everything you need to know about their status the moment they walked into that town. They were immediately defined by someone else's idea of their immorality.
Yes. And from there, now forced to work as servants, the two sisters' paths diverge. And that's what really sets up the main tragedy.
Let's follow that. Amna, our narrator, she lands on her feet, at least at first. She goes to work in the Mamour's house, the sub-prefect.
And this placement it's transformative for her. It's what makes her later revenge plot even possible. She becomes close friends with the Mamour's daughter, Khadija.
And through that friendship,
she learns to read, to write. And, crucially, she picks up the refined Cairo dialect. She's starting to escape her peasant roots, at least intellectually.
But her older sister, Hanadi, she ends up in a much more, let's say, dangerous situation.
Much more. She's serving a wealthy, elegant senior engineer. And he lives alone.
And he becomes the catalyst for the family's next great tragedy.
He does. He seduces Hanadi. The sources talk about this rapid maturation for her. She finds love, pleasure, but it quickly, very quickly turns to despair. It's a relationship that just can't work in that context.
And their mother, Zara, she senses this.
She senses the shame, the shared sadness. And she commands this sudden flight from what she calls the ill-omened town.
But they're not escaping to safety. This flight takes them right into the hands of their own family, to the honor killing.
It's a shocking, calculated trap. Their own uncle, Nasir, meets them. He says he's taking them home to the village.
No lie.
A complete lie. He forces them to stop in the middle of nowhere at night. And there, he stabs Hanadi to death to reclaim family honor.
And then he tries to erase the crime itself.
It's horrific. He levels the burial site with earth, pours water over it to hide the spot completely.
And the official story, the one told to the world.
Hanadi died in an epidemic. The shame was buried with the body.
And you have Amna and her mother standing there, witnesses to this. this unbelievable violence from their own blood, what does that do to Amna?
It shatters her, but it also forges her. She gets very sick afterwards, this prolonged, intense illness.
Huh?
But it's in that sickness that her resolve is born. The sources give us these incredibly powerful visions she has.
A red spring.
Red spring of blood, yes. And she's haunted by these recurring figures, the red ghosts.
Who are they? The red ghost seems so central to her becoming an Avenger.
They are. Their names are Marta, Amina, and Melzima. They're symbolic figures. They represent all the other women, the nameless victims of this kind of violence.
So they're not just ghosts, they're a call to action.
They are a charge. They appear to Amna, and they affirm the absolute necessity of revenge. So it's not just personal anger anymore. She's now avenging Hanadi on behalf of this whole chorus of silenced women.
That totally changes her motivation then. This isn't just about her sister, it's a moral crusade. And her first moves are incredibly strategic. That education paid off.
Absolutely. Her intellect is key. Her first instinct is to go back to the Mamur's house for refuge. And that's where she gets a crucial piece of information.
Which is?
She finds out that her friend Khadija's engagement, which ironically was to the engineer, has been broken off.
The same engineer, of course.
The same one. And the Mamur is getting a transfer. So her target is still there, but his life is unsettled. Amna realizes she needs to get close to him. Fast.
And this is where she has to get cunning. She has to network.
And she finds help in the town's shadows. She connects with a woman named Zenuba, a fantastic character.
A former dancer, a moneylender.
And a police spy. She moves through all the wealthy houses gathering information. Zenuba is basically the key to the town's entire underground network. Amna uses her to get a foot in the door.
And we get that little anecdote that just perfectly shows her cleverness. The Arabian Nights incident.
Yes. She takes a temporary job and gets caught reading 1001 Nights. Her master is furious, calls it inept nonsense.
Something that will ruin his house.
And he fires her. But it shows you right there, she's willing to use what that society considers forbidden knowledge. She's strategic.
And that strategic mind leads her to her goal. She doesn't just wait for a job opening at the engineer's house.
She creates one. It's a brilliant move. She pays off the gardener to get the current maid, Sukaina, dismissed.
Just like that. She's in.
She's in. She has infiltrated the scene of the crime. And the source says she feels she has inherited this man from her sister. The stage is set.
So now we're in the heart of the novel, the War of Wills. And this is where it gets so much more complex than a simple revenge plot. She can't just kill him.
No. Her vow from the Red Ghost is to destroy him emotionally. So when he makes his advances, as she knows he will, she deploys this contradictory strategy, a mix of seductive smiles.
But with an icy reserve.
Exactly. It drives him crazy. She offers the possibility of conquest, but always pulls away.
She's keeping him emotionally starved, keeping his focus entirely on her.
It becomes a war for him. He expects the same easy submission he got from Hanadi, but Amna fights back. She's battling for emotional dominance.
And what's so fascinating is how he reacts. You'd think he'd just get angry or bored, but that's not what happened.
Not at all. The entire dynamic shifts. His desire stops being about just conquest. It becomes emotional. He gets attached. He starts to suffer, to show what look like real signs of love for the one woman he can't control.
Which must have thrown Amna's entire plan into chaos.
Completely. How do you maintain that level of pure hatred for someone who seems to genuinely love you?
The war becomes internal for her, too.
It does. The novel shows this beautifully. She finds herself feeling moments of pity, even compassion for him. But then she remembers Hanadi. She remembers the red ghosts. And she forces herself to stay the course.
This standoff finally breaks when the engineer gets transferred to Cairo. It forces the question of what happens next.
It does. And when he tells her he's leaving, her control it shatters. She breaks down in these uncontrollable tears, and that reveals everything. It shows him the depth of her own hidden feelings.
And he's smart enough to read that. He sees the bond.
He sees they are inseparable, and his response is immediate. He proposes marriage.
Which is just a monumental shift. The seducer is now the one begging for commitment.
Begging. He argues that they are bound together now.
And this is the moment of truth. She refuses, but she uses this language of shared fate, saying they are both condemned to this endless suffering. She can't accept the proposal.
She has to confess. She has to tell him everything.
And she does.
She unloads the entire truth. Her real identity. Hanadi's seduction. The uncle's murder. The 20-year vow of revenge. The very truth she planned to use to destroy him.
And his reaction is not what anyone would expect. Not rage or fear.
It's the paradoxical genius of the book. He accepts it all. He claims that this revelation, this truth, makes it even more impossible for them to separate.
So they agree to move forward together, bearing this
No,
shared misfortune.
exactly. They leave for Cairo, and the source describes it as a state of pure and immaculate reconciliation. They found peace through the conflict.
Her revenge succeeded, but not how she planned. It didn't destroy him. It forced him into a lifelong commitment built on their shared tragedy. It's a kind of justice where love, or this tragic bond, wins out over the traditional honor culture.
It is. And the book ends with this perfect circular image. It brings us right back to the Curlew.
The sound.
Yes. As they're leaving, and Amna has even taken a new name, so the engineer hears the bird's call. He turns to her and he asks, "Did it sound the same way when Hanadi was murdered?"
Wow. So he's acknowledging it? He's accepting the weight of the past as part of their future?
He's making her pain, their shared story, the foundation of their new life.
Which makes you really question the nature of her victory. She achieved her goal, she got commitment, but by binding herself to him, she's also bound herself forever to the memory of her sister's murder.
And that is the profound dilemma at the end. Did she achieve freedom, or just a more complicated form of suffering? The novel doesn't give you an easy answer.
Which brings us to the final insight. Amna shone a bright light of truth onto this whole dark history with her confession. But did that light bring healing? Or did it just create new, more complicated shadows?
And for you, the listener, that's the thought to leave with. In a world that runs on secrets and tradition, is bringing the truth to light always a source of liberation? Or can that light sometimes be even harder to escape than the darkness you left behind?